No genre of film portrays the hopes and fears of a society quite as plainly as the sci-fi space film. Since the dawn of humanity, the stars have filled the human mind with wonder. Film has provided a way to experience what could lie beyond our current reality. Do films reflect what already exists in the culture, or do they bend and shape the culture at their will? To find this out, we will explore 2 time periods and a flagship sci-fi film from each. Here, on the ship of film imagination, we can explore any moment from any film. Come with me. The best space films are rooted in our origins. They provide us a glimpse of the future by showing us our past. 2001: A Space Odyssey is one of those films. It was filmed in 1968, but it's intertwined with early human mythology. The plot involves 4 short stories, starting on Earth, then on the Moon, then orbiting Jupiter. If we include the lengthier ending from Arthur C. Clarke's novel, on which the film is based, the ending also takes place around Saturn. So why does this matter? The famous Greek astronomer Ptolemy is famous for creating a model of the solar system around 100 AD. The Earth was fixed in the center, and the Moon and all 6 planets up to Saturn orbited in strange patterns. At that time, it was believed that upon death, the soul leaves the earth and passes by each of these celestial bodies, returning a part of itself to each. The plot follows this progression, and at the very end, the protagonist is transformed into a fetus orbiting the earth, ready for reincarnation. Still, why does this matter? Well, it tells us the struggles portrayed in 2001: A Space Odyssey are the same struggles that humanity has dealt with throughout its history. I'm standing on the shores of the Mediterranean, the very setting for Homer's famous Odyssey. This was the inspiration for 2001: A Space Odyssey, as director Stanley Kubrick describes. It occurred to us that for the Greeks, the vast stretches of sea must have had the same sort of mystery and remoteness that space has for our generation, and that the far-flung islands Homer's wonderful characters visited were no less remote to them than the planets our spacemen will soon be landing on are to us. 2001 portrayed the same human advancement of exploration that has always occurred, but in a new realm, space. We'll return to it in a bit. But first, let's examine a similar film from a completely different time period, Interstellar, released in 2014. Its premise is the opposite. The human condition to explore, to push the frontier of knowledge, is jeopardized by crop failures on Earth. This is best shown in Cooper's confrontation with the school teachers.
Okay, well, right now, we don't need more engineers. We didn't run out of television screens and planes. We ran out of food. The world needs farmers.
Notice how the teachers are well dressed and outnumber Cooper. This symbolizes how their philosophy has come to power. Cooper is an old-fashioned minority, and what's more, his worldview is seen as impractical.
I believe it was a brilliant piece of propaganda that the Soviets bankrupted themselves, pouring resources into rockets and other useless machines.
Useless machines?
And if we don't want a repeat of the excess and wastefulness of the 20th century, then we need to teach our kids about this planet, not tales of leaving it.
So, if we look past the father-daughter bond that's tightly wound throughout the film, Interstellar is about embracing exploration and innovation to solve problems. Sure, the key moments are driven by love, not science, but come on, it's Hollywood. In Interstellar, the antagonizing force is people, who threaten humanity's success by limited foresight and selfishness.
God, they're just hoping to find?
Don't judge me, Cooper. You were never tested like I was.
But as we saw in 2001, A Space Odyssey, the human drive to explore remains strong. Instead, the antagonizing force is technology. Don't believe me? Let's take a closer look. David Bowman, the protagonist of 2001, and his companion Frank Poole are both driven astronauts. They come across well-spoken and poised in the opening interview.
Dr. Poole, what's it like while you're in hibernation?
Well, it's exactly like being asleep. You have absolutely no sense of time. The only difference is that you don't dream.
As I understand it, you only...
This contrasts with the supercomputer HAL 9000, whose soft-spoken voice comes across extremely creepy.
Does this ever cause you any lack of confidence?
Let me put it this way, Mr. Raymer. The 9000 series is the most reliable computer ever made.
Furthermore, the first-person view from HAL's perspective suggests he is more than a computer, that he has a mind and will of his own. Unlike many other films, including Interstellar, 2001 flatly portrays the realities of space exploration, including heavy breathing in spacesuits and long periods of time with no dialogue. This emphasizes the frailty of humans in the vast darkness of space. Humans are so frail, in fact, that the rogue HAL computer can kill the hibernating astronauts in less than a minute. And moments later, when HAL refuses to let the astronauts in, we see Bowman in the pod, cradling Poole, almost as if he's a sacrifice to the computer. Well, he actually is, because Bowman must release him in order to break into the ship. Ultimately, Bowman must destroy HAL. The human destroys the technology. But the film seems to suggest that HAL has become alive, in a sense. He appears to feel guilty for an error, and later plots to murder the crew to preserve his existence. He values himself as a life, as a conscious being. This blurs the line between technology and us.
Stop, Dave. I'm afraid.
2001: A Space Odyssey explored the possibilities of the future. Technology may gain a human level of consciousness, and at that point, we may not be able to simply shut it off. The premise of Interstellar is a global climate disaster that threatens to make the Earth uninhabitable. Although the term climate change is never actually said, it's clearly what is being represented in the film. The antagonizing force throughout the film is humans. We see people struggling for their own self-interest. Can you blame them? Maybe not, as it seems the decision to turn away from exploration and innovation was already made. An interesting character is Dr. Mann. His name clearly represents the human urge to struggle for individual survival. He is no stranger to this concept, he even embraces it.
The survival instinct. That's what drove me. It's what drives all of us.
That is why it's difficult to label him, or any human opposition, as evil. This raises into question the future of humanity if we are predisposed to care for our own clan, such as families and friends, but not for humanity as a whole. If we look at the portrayal of advanced technology in Interstellar, it's nearly the opposite as 2001.
Everybody good? Plenty of slaves for my robot colony?
I gave him a humor setting so he'd fit in better with his unit.
The artificial intelligence, 3 supercomputer robots assisting the crew, are witty but straightforward.
Dr. Mann, please respond!
He doesn't know the Endurance docking procedure.
Well, the autopilot does.
Not since Tars disabled it.
Nice.
What's your trust setting, Tars?
Lower than yours, apparently.
They are also physically different than HAL. While interstellar robots are blocky and slightly comical in appearance, HAL has no physical manifestation beyond round cameras. The circular shape is unnerving, representing an eye that always is watching and has the power to control the entire ship. Interstellar reflects current public concerns about climate change. Technology is viewed as a powerful tool that can assist humans. 2001: A Space Odyssey reflects public uncertainty about technological innovation and the potential consequences of supercomputers. But they don't just act as a mirror of contemporary opinion. They have the power to convey a message, to mold and shape the possibilities of the future, to influence the society they come from. 2001 tells us that our supercomputers are a reflection of us, and we are not beyond the same struggles that marked our beginnings. Interstellar tells us that turning away from innovation and exploration won't solve the problems we face here on Earth. So next time you watch a sci-fi space film, appreciate the special effects and the combination of science and imagination that goes into making the film. But also don't forget to appreciate the complex way that the film interacts with the culture that surrounds you.